There are still reports, especially some law enforcement agencies. Whenever we seize drugs, for example, we seize 5 kilos, sinisaving, sir, yung iba.
Yan, that's what I'm saying.
Yes, sir.
You're recycling. Because when I was Secretary of Justice 20 years ago or more, this was very rampant. But that's why I'm asking for an update. Is it still an issue? You're saying there is still an issue. Are we able to detect this? And what do we do if we are detecting this?
Well, I can assure you, sir, in PDEA, we are not doing that. Whenever we see...
No, I'm not talking about PDEA. As I said, I am not talking to PDEA, of PDEA. I am talking about the law enforcement sector as a sector. That's what, because they're the ones who would be exposed to this temptation. That's, and I'm not talking about PDEA, let me emphasize that. But being the PDEA, I assume you would have an overall picture of how rampant, if any, is the recycling.
Sir, I guess it's still rampant in the recycling of drugs.
It's still rampant.
Yes, sir. Especially on operatives down there. Ang usually kasi, sir, na nagiging modus is that when they seize drugs, maybe half of that will be surrendered or be, yun ang, sir, palalabas nila na yun lang ang na-seize nila. The other ones are being kept either for future operations or the worst of it is they sell the drugs.
With the permission, you know, it strikes me, which is interesting, for future operations, meaning pang-plant?
Pwedeng pang-plant, sir, pwedeng all other kinds of preparations.
Either way, it's bad. No?
It's bad, sir, yes, definitely.
I'm raising this because in the past, and this I'm talking more than 25 years ago, ranking member of the armed forces was killed in a by-bus operation here in Metro Manila. And it caused so much tension and instability in the government at that time that left an indelible mark in my work as Secretary of Justice. And as Secretary of Justice, I also know how difficult it was for my prosecutors to prosecute these cases because the amount of drugs that are presented during the trial is much lower than the volume confiscated during the raid. And it raises really a very serious problem. And I am saddened to hear that it is still rampant. So if it is rampant, what are the measures that we are taking in order to completely eradicate this evil of recycling these confiscated drugs? What do you said it is rampant? So what are the measures that you have you are undertaking to address this this issue, Mr. Aquino?
One way, sir, is to prevent recycling of drugs is to conduct a joint operations. If it is a joint operations between law enforcement agencies, yung probability, sir, ng recycling of drugs is lessened or prevented. For example, sir, we are conducting joint operations with the PNP, PDEA, Armed Forces of the Philippines, the NICA, and maybe some intel-operatives of the Army. So yung recycling modus dun, sir, nawawala dahil everybody is...
Parang may check and balance.
Check and balance, sir, definitely. There will
But
be a check and balance.
notwithstanding this, and I agree with you, maybe this is a good way to prevent recycling. But notwithstanding your joint operations, your characterization of recycling is open quote, rampant close quote. So apparently the joint operations method leaves much to be desired. Can you think of other ways by which this can be addressed? This is very serious.
Another way, sir, is, we conduct our own internal cleansing. Just like the PDEA, the PNP is conducting their own internal cleansing. In fact, in the PNP alone, they have a unit that foresee all the irregularities whenever there's a conduct of operations in the field.
Yes, Director Aquino, when you say it is rampant, what is the standard that you use that forced you or that compelled you to characterize it as rampant?
I received some information from assets, from other law enforcement agencies themselves. Nakakarinig ako sa mga information na ganito ginagawa ni ganyan, pag nag-ooperate ganyan ang ginagawa nila. So, hearing these reports, it will just show that there's still recycle of drugs in the field.
Again, with the permission, at what point nangyayari pilferage? Kasi recycling, magpipilfer ka, di ba? At what stage of the operation would the pilferage occur?
Once they discover or seize the drugs. So, wala pang mga witnesses doon. They try to hahatiin na siya, kumbaga, yung drugs doon sa loob. So, yun ang nakakalungkot, sir, na when I was still in the Philippine National Police, mas rampant noon, sir, na nakikita ko talaga. Noon, sir. Mas rampant.
You know, I admire your candor, Director General Aquino. I take my hat off to you. You do not cover up things. You call a spade, you say it's rampant, but it causes a concern. Because if the people who are given the task of solving our or enforcing the law insofar as drug traffic is concerned are the ones who lead the anomalous practices that forced you to classify it as rampant, I am really concerned about how this thing would further deteriorate in the future.